The date is January 13th, and I'm in the New York City Police Department, Precinct 108. Sitting in front of me is Martin Fitzpatrick, who has requested a meeting with me today regarding a case my grandfather led back in 1922. Mr. Fitzpatrick, before we begin, I just want to let you know that I will be recording this conversation for my own records. Are you okay with that?
Do whatever you need to do. I think it's unnecessary, but you're the detective, not me.
Okay, so you're here today because of the Madeline Longfellow murder my grandfather investigated. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Well, it's a 2018. What makes you so interested in a case back from 1922?
It's not so much interest as self-preservation. My family's name is on the line.
Fitzpatrick. I knew that name sounded familiar. Seems like your grandfather was one of the ones suspected of killing Madeline.
Oh, allegedly. Your grandfather was the one who was investigating and seemed to come to the conclusion that my grandfather is the one who murdered her.
Yeah, he never made an arrest, though. There were other people he suspected.
Yeah, well, his other suspicions weren't enough to take the stain off my grandfather. That suspicion haunted my grandfather until the day he died.
And let me guess, you want me to prove my own grandfather wrong and clear your family name?
Something like that. Look, I'm getting married soon. As much as my family has tried to bury what happened to my grandfather, the taint is still there. I would hate to have skeletons coming out of my closet at the wrong time. You get what I mean? I could kiss my fiancée, her family, and her money goodbye if the wrong words went into the wrong ears.
Why come to me specifically? This is a pretty cold case. What makes you think I have anything to add to it?
Your grandfather was the lead investigator. I know he was on that case for months because my grandfather was followed for months, yet he never closed the case. He never had enough evidence. He must have let some of his notes around and told you about it.
So what if he did? I'm not obligated to help you keep your fiancée or the money that comes with her. My grandfather thought your grandfather was guilty, and that's enough for me.
It's not enough, though. My grandfather didn't do it. He may have never cared about me, and I may have never cared about him, but I do know one thing. He loved Madeline Longfellow and wouldn't kill her.
And I'm just supposed to believe you.
You don't have to believe me, but you can look at this.
It's just an old postcard and a photo.
Look closer, detective. I recently found this in some of my grandfather's effects. That's the first postcard ever sent to him the night after they first met from Madeline. My grandfather carried that letter until the day he died. I remember him bringing it out from time to time to read over and over.
Yeah, that doesn't prove anything. Your grandpa could have held on to it out of guilt.
So look at the photo. This photo of the both of them was taken a few weeks later. Look at the eyes that are scratched out and the message on the back.
I'm always watching.
My grandfather didn't write that. That's not his handwriting. Wouldn't you say that's a little bit suspicious? A little threatening? It doesn't put the slightest doubt in your mind?
Of what? You think someone was following your grandfather around?
It's no secret that my grandfather was seeing Madeline, who was a married woman at the time. It's not so far-fetched to think that someone was upset about that. Your grandfather suspected mine so much of the murder because he was supposedly the last one to see Madeline alive. What if your grandfather was wrong and someone else was watching them? I think it's suspicious enough for another look, at least.
Even if it is, I don't have time for this right now. I've got other cases.
I'm willing to make it worth your while.
I'm also not a private investigator. You came to my place of work. I'm hardly unbiased.
So pretend this is just a friendly chat. I'm not officially asking you to do anything. But if you were to happen to work on this outside your business hours, that's up to you. Don't you finally want to put your grandfather's suspicions to rest?
I guess you got a deal.